As the sporting world gears up to the world's most famous sporting event, the FIFA World Cup, the national broadcaster GRTS, in partnership with the African Union of Broadcasting AUB, will be airing the FIFA World Cup games live from Moscow, Russia. The 2018 FIFA World Cup will be the 21st edition and is scheduled to take place in Russia from 14th of June to 15th of July 2018 across 11 cities in Russia, battling a total of 52 games. The African continent will be represented by 5 teams: the Teranga Lions of Senegal, the Pharaohs of Egypt, the Atlas Lions of Morocco, Super Eagles of Nigeria, and Les Aigles de Carthage of Tunisia. The tournaments unleash talent from across the world as football stars lead their countries to victory. To be a sponsor of the World Cup Football Tournament 2018, live broadcast on GRTS, call our commercial department on 4377-214 or 4378-775.
Broadcasting live from Banjul, this is the news at 2000 hours from the Gambia radio and television services. In our top stories, election observers describe the 2018 chairperson and mayoral elections as free and fair, but could this be marred by reports of post-election scuffles elsewhere? And after weeks of campaigns for the mayoral seats, Banjul and Kanifi municipality elects new mayors, and GRTS speaks to the new representatives entrusted with the planning and development of our cities. And also coming up, the Gambia under-20 football champions extend their winning streak with an impressive 2-1 win against Benin at the Independence Stadium. Elsewhere, a new Ebola alarm surfaces in DR Congo, and this is the country's health minister announces at least 25 Ebola reported cases. And in Uganda, a former child soldier is spearheading efforts to transform the lives of youth by training them in the use of handy skills. These and many more stories coming ahead. With me, Fatima Tassisay. To stay tuned. And we begin this bulletin with the much-anticipated Elections Observer Report from the Election Situation Room at the Paradise Suites Hotel, where the media, civil society participants, and the external election observers have been closely monitoring the process and outlook of the just-ended local government polls rounded up by the chairperson and mayoral elections. Here's an excerpt.
From 27th April to 10th May 2018, was generally peaceful, and parties and candidates were able to conduct their activities without major disruptions, except in few cases. There were also allegations of vote buying. Notwithstanding, parties and candidates devoted significant time to campaigning, particularly on social media, which resulted to slandering by supporters from the various parties and candidates. Hate speech and inciting languages were particularly observed during this campaign period. Incidents of politically motivated violence, including threats and some clashes between opposing sides, were evident and reported. Observers also noted lack of adequate security provided to campaign rallies in most cases. The CSO coalition notes with concern that some political parties and candidates violated the code on campaign ethics, notably the failure to observe the May 11th campaign-free day. Some candidates were canvassing for votes, particularly within Banjul, contrary to Section 85 of the Elections Act, without any punitive measures taken by the IEC. The CSO coalition further notes with concern the lack on campaign finance regulations. The absence of the regulatory framework enables political parties to spend without ceiling and with limited information on how their campaign finances are being generated. This is bound to create an unequal playing field amongst candidates. Generally, the opening of polls started at a stipulated time, although voting began late in some places, but not later than 30 minutes from opening of polls. Opening process was smooth and peaceful. Procedures were generally followed to ensure secrecy of the vote. However, there were isolated cases where the curtains were translucent and polling staff did not count the marbles before the commencement of voting. Contrary to Section 68 and 69 of the Elections Act, few isolated incidents of voting by at least 2 wrong card holders was noted in voters' cards was detected and prevented. Accessibility for voters with physical disability remains a challenge in many polling stations. Either the booths were situated on sandy surfaces or in rooms or raised platforms with steps to climb. The location of some polling stations in public places such as mosques, markets, and popular streets posed a challenge for many, as the presence of unauthorized persons was inevitable because of the use of those places for other purposes. In some polling stations, entrance to booths was too narrow to allow a voter on wheelchair to enter. The incidence of inducement of voters on behalf of candidates, contrary to Section 70 of the Elections Act, as well as violence was noticed, especially in Banjul.
That was the observer report of the just concluded mayoral and chairperson election. And we'll stay with the election because GRTS earlier spoke to the winners of the capital's mayoral seat, Rahim Malik Low, and also spoke to GRTS about our first priority for development in the island city. Here's an excerpt.
I feel very happy and humbled. I was so very grateful and I am very thankful to the people of Banjul.
Now that you are duly elected into office, what are your first priorities?
As I always said in my manifesto, my first priority, my target is the market. Because I've been to the market and I've seen that the woman doesn't have toilets. So this is my first priority. Yes. I'm urging all my co-aspirants to come join me for the betterment of Banjul.
And still on the winners of the mayoral election, Talib Bensouda, the new Kanifing municipality mayor, also spoke to GRTS. Let's take a listen.
I've been very happy and honored to be selected as mayor-elect for KMC. The results were spectacular, but like I always say, I don't think I won. I think the Gambian population won. Our democracy won. And I'd like to congratulate all Gambians for taking part in this process. My priority is to obviously go in there and boost its capacity, also to look at boosting its revenue so we can provide more services and a better standard of service to the Gambian population, to the KMC residents. All Gambians won. Our democracy won. The election has proven that the fundamentals of our democracy is sound. I'd like to tell them that I respect them very much for taking the risk. And I know they all wanted to serve this country, but I will seek their advice. I will also seek their collaboration during my time in office.
Let's head to the West Coast region because Sheriff Sonko of the United Democratic Party emerged winner of the race, pulling 48.8% of votes by Ibrahim Cham reports.
It was the day after the historic win for the newly elected chairman of the Berkami Area Council. Sheriff Sonko is now preparing to undertake what is said to be a hugely challenging work to revitalize this vast region. With a total of 32,698 votes, Sheriff Sonko under the UDP ticket won with 48.8% of votes cast by the electorates in the West Coast region. With renewed responsibility and expectation, the new chairperson in his first interview since his election into office spoke of his readiness to live up to expectations of his people.
Most of the resources of the West Coast is not been benefiting the people of West Coast. So this is one of the things that we want to focus on, to make sure that all those things come back to the Council of West Coast. Because without having those kind of things, those resources back, to have our taxes from them, it will be very hard to be able to do some certain things.
Mr. Sonko has set his sights on key priority areas, including improved economic development for the region, as well as tackling the infrastructural needs of the people of the West Coast region.
The drainage system, especially in Brikama, in Kufud, some parts of Sukuta, even in Fonyi, you can see there is no good drainage system in place, which the previous government did not work that thing out, because we are going to the rainy season. When rain comes, it's very tough for people of West Coast, very, very tough. So,
learning from the mistakes of the previous administration, the new chairperson of the West Coast region disclosed plans to work with the VDCs to ensure that the region is given the necessary facelift it requires.
You have to be in consultation with the councillors. The VDC that people think are not useful, they are very useful in society, in villages, and in terms of national development, VDC is very important. They have a key role to play. So by ignoring those people, it will be very hard for you to achieve your goals. So one has to be very careful about that and put that thing into consideration.
For now, the new chairperson of the Brikama Area Council will continue to receive multitude of well-wishers who are trooping his residents at Tubakuta to convey congratulatory messages and words of encouragement. For GRTS News, I'm Ibrahim Cham.
Away from politics, we now take a look at other news. With the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, has Friday celebrated 50 years of existence together with their annual business awards, with the theme promoting an exclusive approach towards business excellence. The event was attended by the businessmen and women and government officials. Seydou Kamara has the rest of the story.
It was a colorful night for the business community in the country. The Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry celebrated 50 years of existence alongside their annual business award ceremony. The theme for this year's business award is promoting an exclusive approach towards business excellence. President of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mohamed Jagana, explains the mandates of the GCCI, which he said is to foster the business growth of men and women in the country. Jagana highlighted some of the achievements the Chamber gained since its inception.
We have directed this institution with the best governance and management practice, which is reflected in the increase of our turnover from 8 million in 2013 to today hovering around 19 million. The GCCI has vastly expanded our MSE, youth, women, and introduced even a startup membership fee to encourage young Gambians who just started their business to be members of the GCCI.
Night also witnessed the launching of 2 books written by Abdullah Toure, the title Milestone History Achieved of the GCCI and Selected Speeches. Guest speaker of the night, Ami Bensouda, underscored the way forward in promoting an exclusive approach towards business excellence in the Gambia.
How do we promote an inclusive approach to business excellence? It is a well-known, tested and accepted paradigm that it is only through inclusive approaches in all sectors and at all levels that we can hope to unlock and harness the potential of our communities, to break the cycle of poverty in which so many are trapped. There is sufficient research out there to support such a hypothesis. My experience have taught me, and I also firmly believe, that the private sector is the key to unlocking the potential and capacity in people to lift themselves out of poverty.
Bensouda further said, as a country, particularly and institutions like the Chamber, can promote an exclusiveness that will expand the private sectors to all communities and thereby stimulate and accelerate growth On the other hand, business owners should deploy and promote exclusive approaches for drive business excellence.
Exercising all these findings, one can define an inclusive approach to business excellence as one where one will look to make healthy profits or create value for shareholders through happy, motivated employees. Two, we encourage innovation through diversity by a willingness to invest in women to not only take on more responsibility, but to lead and be part of the conversation.
Representing the President, the Minister of Trade, Dr. Aissatou Touré, said the private sectors are important in the economic development of the country. Dr. Touré head the GCCI for celebrating excellence and championing progress in the country.
GCCI, with the support of the government, have actively promoted this platform with the momentous objectives of stimulating competition, competitiveness, and even corporate social responsibility in the business community.
The awards were categorized to 4, which Fatou Senghor Tambajan won the Businesswoman of the Year, Africell, the Leading Business of the Year, Ecobank, and Aki J. Allens of the Gambia Electrical went home with the Lifetime Award. Seydou Kamara, GRTS News.
Next, the Fajikunda Medio Health Center on Thursday organized its annual data review and staff award ceremony. Various health personnel from the health sector witnessed the occasion. With more in this report by Aissatou Jata.
It's been 7 years since the Fajikunda Major Health Center engaged in an annual data review and staff awarding ceremony geared towards promoting the spirit of recognizing hardworking staffers.
Data is very important in terms of planning. Data is also helping us to communicate very well. And I'm sure with this valuable importance attached to data, we should be able to regard data as a very important tool for us. Sitting down as a health facility, reviewing what you have for the whole year, and looking at the achievements we have registered, also looking at the challenges, is a very important thing for this facility, and I think we have to thank you for that.
It takes a committed team to organize such a laudable initiative, and we applaud you for such an initiative. The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is aware of the efforts being taken to arrive at such, especially coming to present data on your services. We advise you to use this data for planning, as without data, we cannot make a good headway.
The data review, as stated by Officer in Charge of the Health Center, Ibukor, will help accomplish their efforts in planning ahead for future developments of the Health Center. Director of Health Promotion and Education, Mudunjai, buttressed on the significance of data collection, especially in the health sector. This, he added, will go a long way towards reviewing their activities and set plans.
I also want to give an advice to all of you who are collecting data. Let's continue to collect data, but the data has to be reliable and accurate, and also must be submitted on timely manner. But also the people who are also collecting data, they must also have to communicate. We need to communicate, and I think that's why my focus will be on communication. Wherever we are collecting data and we are not communicating, the data will not be realistic and reliable.
Part of activities of the day's activities was a drama performed by the health officials, putting a point across that if doctors are the brain of the hospital, then nurses are the heart. Hence, the two only function together, and the behavior of some nurses toward patients.
To be successful in health service provision, we need to make decisions fast and based on the right information. One of the important functions of a data warehouse and service intelligence system in data management is to provide users with a snapshot of their services at any given time.
The occasion also provided the platform for health and data experts to disclose the facilities data for the year 2016-2017. At the end of the program, certificates of merits were awarded to outstanding staff for their punctuality, commitment, and hard working, ensuring quality health service delivery. Aissatou Jata, GRTS.
And we'll take you to China now, because the third China-Africa Local Government Cooperation Forum was on Tuesday held in Beijing. The one-day forum on the theme Poverty Alleviation and Sustainable Development was part of a series of preparatory meetings ahead of the China-African Heads of State and Government Summit in September. Sally Jaju reports from Beijing.
It is the third convergence of China-African local government authorities, attended by 400 delegates from across Africa and China. The forum was aimed, among other things, to discuss, share ideas and experiences, and formulate concrete approaches towards fighting poverty. In his welcoming remarks, the Vice President of the People's Republic of China, Wang Shan, described poverty as a global challenge that requires multi-sectoral approach to combat. He said poverty reduction and sustainable development has been a critical component of China-Africa cooperation for over 4 decades now, and China, he added, is committed towards the crusade of ending poverty as enshrined in the country's Belt and Road Initiative. According to Mr. Wang, deepening partnership with African local government authorities will complement the efforts of the central governments of the two parties in achieving the desired goals of mutual benefits. He also expressed China's readiness to increase its investments in Africa and open up more for the Africa-China cooperation. For the former Prime Minister of Tanzania, Dr. Salim Ahmed Salim, the relationship between China and Africa has been a long outstanding one that has yielded tangible results.
In the annals of African liberation struggles, the assistance and support offered by the Chinese people and their government will always occupy a prominent space. Yet both China and African nations realize that freedom and liberation remain empty slogans if the underlying economic base is weak and people's well-being is neglected. For a people-centered mode of development, poverty eradication is rooted in the very process of generating prosperity and building a self-sustainable economic base.
He therefore challenged the delegates to come up with pragmatic recommendations and strategies to fight poverty.
Local government structures are the closest representation of the people's power and authority. They provide a vehicle for translating national goals and aspirations at the local level. They are the building blocks for the people's governance. Effective local government structures can be important vehicles in ensuring that the wealth and resources of our countries are used to serve the majority of our people.
Mr. Salim further argued that Africa can only achieve its total freedom and sustainable development if poverty is eradicated. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Sally Jaju.
A special Quranic memorization boarding school is the new pride of Kitty Village in the Combo East area of the Western region. A community initiative to promote education, the Ikra boarding school is growing to become a reliable seat for Quranic education and the learning of religious values with a fresh batch of new graduates. Challenging feat by all means, Senabu Jani reports the 4th batch of graduates have put the complete Holy Quran to memory.
In Kitty, a special boarding school specializing in Quranic memorization is fast becoming the new pride of the settlement, which has become an important town in the Combo East area of the West Coast region. With many parents enrolling their children in the fast-growing Quranic boarding school, Kitty is looking to become a center of Islamic education in the vast region with several boarding in its count. Unlike many fields of study, Quranic memorization requires special attention to accomplish. However, as the boarding school finally graduates its 4th batch of 6 students, villagers and school officials are confident and upbeat about the future of their ambitious educational drive. The students recited verses from the Holy Quran for the colorful audience of parents, teachers, and special guests who called all the way to witness the special event. Parents and scholars were present to witness their children recite the Holy Quran.
ولا تعرى sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shirif Keba Haidara donated $10,000 to the students of the Ikra boarding school in a show of appreciation for efforts to advance religious education and knowledge seeking. Alaji Dugane Danso, the founder of the school, had a few words for the graduates.
And that takes us to our break. News and sports is up next. Do stay tuned.
neex cafka gu am solo sa biir gémmiñ ak fiirtaange gu amul fenn la Top Saho drink bu ees bi ñu tënk ko ci 33 centilitre di la jox ma ne saa yu njaboot gi daje di lekk Top Saho drink fa génn ndax bànneex ak kontaante gu am solo laa indil njaboot gi yëpp Top Saho drink fees del ak vitamine C moo gën pour njaboot gi Top Saho drink ak a neex ma ne saa yu amee jotaay mbégte sëy wala taka Top Saho drink nga ci génn ndax dafa neexal torop sa feet ñëpp di ci bànneexu ma ne ñamal seen Top Saho fruit drink si ñu am ko ci flavors yu bari demee na ci orange mango ak yeneen tropical fruit flavors Top Saho am na lactic drinks tamit ñu fees del ak vitamine C ak calcium Top Saho am na yogurt fruits tamit tamarind juice di energy drink bu laa jox doole bu amul fenn ma ne ñamal xeeti Top Saho fruit drinks yi nga xam ne ute naa ki fi nekk Top Saho drinks yi nag ñu leen ko indil di top food te top food amul werante mu gën ci Afrika
GT Bank Save and Win is back with more chances to win bigger prizes to be won. This year, we are giving away such an amazing prize, a complete 3-bedroom house in the heart of Bruford Gardens. Come and save at GT Bank today. Maintain an average balance of over $200,000 to win a complete 3-bedroom house or a return ticket to Dubai with $2,000 travel allowance or a sitting room furniture set. Maintain an average balance of $10,000 to $50,000 to win other valuable quarterly prizes such as motorcycle, fridge freezer, and 32-inch LED TV. Maintain an average balance of $1,000 to $10,000 to win packs of rice, sugar, and gallons of vegetable oil. The bigger your savings, the bigger the prize you could win. Terms and conditions apply. GT Bank Save and Win a complete 3-bedroom house. GT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some news in sports because the newly crowned champions of the WAFU Under-20 Championship have continued their impressive run with a vital 2-1 win against Benin earlier this evening at the Independence Stadium. The goals from Adama Jame and Ibrahim Koli gave the junior Scorpions a 2-1 lead against Benin in the first leg of the qualifiers for the CAF Under-20 African Youth Championship. Here are the reactions of the two coaches after the game.
In the final of the WAFU against Liberia, we scored after 3 minutes. And we told the boys that, once they score, let them go and get the ball out of the net because we want to get as many goals as possible today. And once we got the second goal, I think we just sat back a bit too much. And we just have to learn our lessons and grow up a little bit from the end of the first half. We should try to keep the ball a bit more instead of trying to keep going for the third goal. So I think that was just the mistake that we made at the end of the first half.
The Gambia team is a team that have been together for long. They are just coming out from a competition that they won. So it was a good game. I told my players from the beginning it's going to be the way it is from the first half because they are champions team. They are playing in front of their crowd. They want to show their crowd that they are there. So that is what happened. And, my team have some new players that have not gone out for such competition before. So it is on the team for the first half. So that is it.
Coach, ma question c'est en français. Votre réaction après le match, on
International news is up next after this break. Stay tuned.
Can you get half the price, double the data, and 10 times the speed?
Yes, only with AfriCell. Your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell, has done it again. AfriCell has brought you an unbeatable offer. Buy a MiFi router or a data card for half the price, double the megabytes, and get a speed 10 times faster.
Yes! Get a MiFi router today for only $2,000 and get 4 gigabytes of internet data for free. This is what the company with the fastest internet speed in the country can do. Say what? And that's not all. You can also buy a data card for only $1,500 and get 2 gigabytes of internet data for free.
This is an offer no one dares to match.
Where AfriCell goes, no one has the speed to follow.
With a dynamic team, Gambia Milling Corporation is a local industry promoting the made in the Gambia. Plus 220. Located in the heart of Banjul with a capacity of more than 7,000 bags of 50 kilograms per day. GMC produces baking flour made from high-quality wheat. GMC has depots in Basse, opposite Stadium, and Farafenye, opposite Ecobank. Ad and Eco flours are delivered to bakeries, shops, and tapalapas for production of all sorts of breads and cakes. GMC also produces wheat bran for animal feed. To benefit from the new promotion, call quickly 6611-555 or 6100-101. GMC, proudly Gambian.
Welcome back, and we'll take you to the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the health minister there has confirmed at least 25 known cases of Ebola infection in the country. International organizations are rallying support to contain this latest outbreak in the country. A team of experts from the WHO, Médecins Sans Frontières, and the Equator province traveled to Bikoro to support medical interventions and carry out investigations. We have more in this CGTN report.
DRC confirmed the outbreak of the hemorrhagic fever less than a year since it was declared Ebola-free. This is the 9th time Ebola has been recorded in Congo. According to the WHO estimates, at least 12 others are suspected to have contracted the virus in the past 5 weeks. 3 healthcare workers are among those reported to have been affected. UNICEF representatives went to Bikoro to ascertain the extent of the impact.
I'm just back from a fact-finding mission in Bikoro, where the epicenter of the Ebola epidemic is, in DRC, and I saw that there's a lot to be done. We are working with the government, WHO, and other partners in order to bring the situation up to speed.
In addition to a national campaign, there is need for the readoption of basic sanitation skills.
UNICEF's role is the role that we play all the time, in the sense that we take care of water and sanitation. We will have to bring that behavior back, in washing hands with chlorine, in taking temperature in schools, in public places, in health centers, everywhere. Basically, we are also working on helping wherever is needed in terms of the care facilities, because that is something which is very, very much in need to be done.
The average fatality rate among those infected with the virus is about 50% according to the WHO, and with limited capacity among healthcare providers, World Health Organization says it's preparing for the worst. Beryl Oro, CGTN.
From DR Congo to Uganda, where a former child soldier has set up a workshop in the northern part of the country. Here, Louis Lacour is helping upskill other youths that were also victims of the Lord's Resistance Army rebel group. The workshop teaches them handy skills to help them turn their lives around. CGTN's Beryl Oro has more.
This is Louis Lacour. At the age of 7, he was an armed fighter for the Lord's Resistance Army, a rebel group that terrorized Uganda for decades. They abducted him and forced him to become a child soldier. 4 years later, Lacour escaped from the rebel group and returned to his village in northern Uganda.
When I came back from the bush, I only know fighting. I only
revenge, because the way they've been torturing us from there was too painful.
He is now 27 years old and trying to put the horrors of the bush behind him. Today, he manages a workshop helping other former child soldiers and slaves. They learn skills from vehicle repairs, carpentry to tailoring, and hairdressing.
Most of the youths, they suffer the same way I was suffering. So that heart came into my heart to help them, train them, if I could give them skills. Because now, in Uganda, getting a job is not easy.
The LRA is notorious for using children as soldiers and sex slaves. At least here, they put down their guns for skills that can turn their lives around.
I'm in that dress. I like it. I feel so glad because the way they're teaching us.
While life remains hard, the trainees have gone on to set up workshops in their villages so they too can teach others and rebuild their lives. Beryl Oro, CGTN.
And that brings an end to this edition of the News at 8. But before we go, I look at our top stories once again. Election observers described the 2018 chairperson and mayoral elections as free and fair, but could this be marred by reports of post-election scuffles elsewhere? And after weeks of campaigns for the mayoral seats, Banjul and Kanifi municipality have elected new mayors. GRTS spoke to the new representatives entrusted with the planning and development of our cities. The Gambia Under-20 football champions has extended its winning streak with an impressive 2-1 win against Benin at the Independence Stadium. Elsewhere, a new Ebola alarm has surfaced in DR Congo, and this as the country's health minister announces at least 25 Ebola reported cases. In Uganda, a former child soldier is spearheading efforts to transform the lives of youth by training them in the use of handy skills. That was all in this edition of the News at 8. Thank you for joining us. I'll be back in the studio at 2200 hours with more news. Until then, keep watching GRTS.